I'm Beverly Aarons, and the name of my play is Shoreline 2160, and this is in collaboration with Shore Lake Arts, the Shoreline Historical Museum, and For Culture. And this play is about human migration, climate crisis in the year 2160. There are three main characters: Skylight, 16 years old, Thais. So that's Thais, who's playing Deborah Fox.
Deborah Fox here.
The mom. This is Emily Bang, who's playing Skylight, 16 years old, who is coming from Eastern Washington. And this is Belle Fox, 16 years old. I'm sorry, not Eastern, Eastern Washington, and who lives in Shoreline with Deborah Fox. This is Deborah Fox's daughter. So in 2160, Washington State is facing a water crisis. There isn't enough water to provide for everyone. And because Eastern Washington is arid, they have fewer water resources. And Western Washington has all the water resources. And this creates a conflict between the two parts of Washington State. Emily comes from Eastern Washington to as part of a migration program to heal this rift between Eastern and Western Washington. And she's living in the home of Deborah Fox with Belle Fox. And that's where the story begins, about their interaction and the lessons that they learned about human migrations through history, and how they learn from each other, learn about each other, and learn about who they're going to become in this script. So that's kind of the unscripted version of what this Shoreline 2160 is about. You can see this play on June 23rd online. We're going to stream it because of the pandemic and stuff. And you can go to Eventbrite, look for Shoreline 2160. That's Shoreline like the city, 2160. It's free, it doesn't cost anything, and we would love to see you. Come join us. I wrote Shoreline 2160 because I know what it's like to live in a society that is being impacted by climate change. I grew up in Chicago, and I remember people dying because it was so cold or it was too hot. I know what climate change is like long before there was a language for it, a word for it. I remember people dying, and I remember coming back home to Chicago and seeing, oh my God, I'm about to cry. seeing, oh my gosh, seeing
the impact of real lives being affected by climate change and the weather. And in Chicago, the weather is horribly drastic.
Yes.
And
seeing Lake Michigan, what happened to it, and seeing that people can't be on the beach anymore. And so, it means a lot to me. And, my father was a migrant. He migrated from Jamaica, and seeing, what happens. Jamaica is also facing its own environmental disaster that no one really talks about, and seeing how the environmental disasters become political issues and drive people out of their homes. So I wanted to talk about that, and I've been studying this issue for a very, very long time, and I can see where Washington State is going. Not just Washington State, but this country and the world, where people, some people have access just because they happen to be born in a certain area, and they're not as impacted. Maybe they have access to the rivers, to the streams, and other people don't get access because of the political systems that are in place, where their streams, their rivers, their oceans are polluted, and people die because of this. People die of like diseases. They die from like poisoned water. They get dysentery. They get all types of diseases. They lose access to food sources, and people glaze it over and they say, well, this is because, of poverty, of political corruption. But no, it's because of an overarching system that has been with us for a long time, where all these things have been happening. Forests have been like cut down right here in Seattle. We are living on a dead land, land that's like been stripped completely and nobody even realizes it. And in the ecological system that's been completely violated, raped, and destroyed, and we're living there. We're wondering why these things are happening, and they're happening because the system that we live in is destroying our environment and pretending that it is normal, that is the way that things are supposed to be. And Shoreline 2160 is about saying that this is not the way it's supposed to be, that this is a lie, and that I hope that people begin to question and ask themselves, is this how I'm supposed to live? What future am I creating for my children, for my grandchildren, for future generations? And hopefully they can make a change and make a difference. Tell me when you're ready. Every page that I wrote in this script came from my heart, from my passion, from a place in me that is filled with love for this planet and the people on it. And it was scary at times because you just never know how your work is going to be received, right? But I decided to have courage and to speak my truth in this script. Bobby Gregory. Bobby Gregory is an attorney for the eco-activist group Defend the Land. He's giving his closing argument for the Defend the Land trial. I'm going to read his role. The everyday atrocities committed against our watery planet, the specious and sentient genocides that have extinguished the lives of 200 mammals, birds, insects, and plants every year for the past 300 years. What of this death by collective human hands? Are we not guilty? Who are we to judge, to accuse? How are we, you, complicit in the destruction of our planet? So this is Emily Bang. She is playing Skylight, a 16-year-old young woman from Eastern Washington, Yakima, who lives on a farm that is at risk of being lost because of the drought and because of water being stolen by a mega corporation. I chose Emily because she embodies Sky. Her energy, her spirit, her innocence, her eagerness to want to do good work in the world. I could feel that when she read that role, and I can see that in her eyes and in her spirit and in her energy. And it's important to me that she embodied this character, and I think she's doing a great job doing that, and I'm really grateful to Emily. So I'm Beverly Aarons, the writer of Shoreline 2160, a stage play that will be streamed on June 23rd. Tickets on Eventbrite. And this isn't my first play. I've written a few plays over the years. I also am a journalist. I am a visual artist and a game developer. But this play is really special to me because it deals with a few elements. It deals with the history of migration, it deals with the climate crisis, and it was in collaboration with Shore Lake Arts. and the Playland exhibit in Shoreline, which talks about the history of the amusement park there, was actually what inspired, one of the things that inspired me for this play, because of all the migrants that came from all the different places to come and live in Shoreline. I wrote a play called Confessions of a Creamy Crack Addict, a comedy about why hair matters so much. It was produced in LA in 2003. I wrote another play called The Cost of Water and Tea, which hasn't been produced yet, but it was licensed before the pandemic, and of course the pandemic came, so I don't know exactly when that will be coming out. I am a journalist. I've written dozens of articles for the South Seattle Emerald in the past few years, specifically artist profiles on scientists, on business people, and activists. And I've been in Seattle for the past 12 years, and it's one of the best things that's ever happened to me in my life.